The breathing tube made it impossible to scream, which was probably a mercy if I could have spoken in that moment, watching my parents gather their coats to leave me alone after emergency surgery. I might have said things that couldn't be taken back. Instead, I blinked once for yes when Dad patted my hand and told me to be a good sister. Good sister, while my intestines were still figuring out how to work again after being emergency resected, while monitors tracked my unstable vitals while I was scared and in pain, and couldn't even ask for water. Tyler's team made playoffs, Mom explained, as if that justified everything. This could be his shot at a scholarship. You understand? I understood perfectly. I'd understood for 23 years. Tyler's football games, Tyler's grades, Tyler's needs, they always came first. My appendix had ruptured during my shift at the veterinary clinic. I'd driven myself to there, called them from the waiting room. They'd shown up just in time to sign consent forms before I was wheeled into surgery, and now they were leaving for a high school football game. The nurse Maria found me crying silently an hour later, tears sliding down my face and pooling in my ears. She checked my monitors with practiced efficiency, then paused. Where's your family, honey? I pointed to my throat, then mind writing. She brought me a whiteboard. Brothers game. I wrote. Her face went through several expressions before settling on professionally neutral. I see. Is anyone coming back? I shrugged, then wrote depends on if they win. She didn't laugh. Instead, she pulled up a chair. My shift ends in 6 hours. I'll stay with you till then. That small kindness broke something in me. I wrote frantically. You don't have to. I'm used to it. That, Maria said quietly, is exactly why I have to. Over the next 3 days, I learned a lot. I learned that recovery from emergency surgery is brutal when you're alone, that other patients had rotating visitors. Well, I had Maria when she could spare time and silence when she couldn't, that my parents texted updates about Tyler's team advancing, but didn't ask how I was doing. I also learned I was done. The breathing tube came out on day 2. My first words were to Maria, I need to make some calls. Family, she asked, hopefully lawyer. She didn't question it, just brought me my phone and gave me privacy. The first call was to my job. My boss, Dr. Patricia Hendricks, answered immediately. Skylar, we've been worried sick. How are you alive? I said, voice still raspy. Barely. Listen, I need to ask about that position in Seattle, the clinic partnership. I thought you wanted to stay near family. Things change. Is it still available for you? Always. But Skylar, you just had surgery, which is why I need somewhere to recover. That isn't here. Silence. Then I'll make the calls. When can you travel? 2 weeks. Doctor says you'll have housing and a modified schedule waiting. The second call was to my landlord. Month-to-month lease easily broken. The third was to a moving company. They could pack everything while I recovered. The fourth was to my bank to open new accounts my parents didn't know about. I'd been handling my own life since 15, when they'd forgotten to pick me up from wisdom teeth surgery because Tyler had practice. This was just making it official. They showed up on day 3, flowers from the hospital gift shop in hand. Tyler wasn't with them. How are you feeling? Mom asks, sitting gingerly on the visitor's chair, like she might catch something. Like I had emergency surgery alone, I answered. Dad frowned. We weren't gone that long, and Tyler's team won. They're going to state. Congratulations. My voice was flat. I've been here for 72 hours. Well, we had to celebrate with the team. Mom said, you know how important this is for Tyler's future, right? His future. I pressed the button to raise my bed, needing to look them in the eye for this. What about mine? They exchanged the look I knew too well, the one that said I was being difficult, selfish, not understanding the bigger picture. The bigger picture always had Tyler at the center and me in the margins. You have a good job here, Dad said. Why would you need? I'm moving to Seattle. The silence stretched. Mom's face went through confusion to anger to indignation. You can't just move. What about Sunday dinners? What about supporting your brother? What about them? I asked. I haven't been to Sunday dinner in 2 months. You haven't noticed? And Tyler doesn't need my support. He is yours. All of it. That's not fair, Dad protested. We love both our children equally. Really? I reached for my phone, scrolled through texts. Mom, how many messages have you sent me this week? She shifted uncomfortably. 0. Wanna know how many you sent to Tyler's coach? 17. I know, because you accidentally included me in the group chat. That's different, Dad. What's my job? He blinked. You work with animals. Doing what? Silence. I'm a veterinary surgical assistant. I help save lives every day. But you've never asked about it. Never visited the clinic, never shown interest in asking if I can get Tyler's dog-free flea medication. You're being dramatic, Mom said, her go-to response when confronted with uncomfortable truths. This is probably the pain medication talking. No, I said clearly, this is your daughter talking, the one who drove herself to the ER with a ruptured appendix because she knew you wouldn't leave Tyler's practice, the one who spent 3 days alone after emergency surgery because a high school football game was more important. It was playoffs, Dad said. Like that explained everything. I could have died, I said quietly. My appendix ruptured. Do you understand that I could have died alone in this hospital? Well, you were doing the wave in the stands. Mom's face flushed. Stop being melodramatic, you're fine. Now because of skilled surgeons, not because of family support, we're here now, Dad pointed out. For how long until Tyler texts that he needs something as if on cue? Mom's phone buzzed. She looked at it automatically. Oh, Tyler needs. She caught herself. But too late. I laughed. It hurt my incisions, but I laughed anyway. Go, whatever he needs, go. We're not leaving, Dad said firmly. We're going to sit here and work through this tantrum. I stared at him. I'm not 6, Dad. I'm 23. I have a degree, a career, a life you know nothing about. Because you've never asked. This isn't a tantrum, it's goodbye. You don't mean that, Mom said, but she was already standing, already edging toward the door. Tyler's text was pulling her like gravity. I do. I'm moving in 2 weeks. I won't be sending my address. But what about holidays? Mom asked as if that was the only time my absence would be noticed. What about them? You spent last Christmas at Tyler's bowl game. Thanksgiving was at his girlfriend's house. Easter was a tournament. When exactly would you notice? I'm gone. Dad's face went red. This is ridiculous. You're punishing us because we support your brother's dreams. No, I corrected. I'm freeing you to focus solely on Tyler without the inconvenience of pretending you have to children, and I'm freeing myself from waiting for you to remember I exist after everything we've done for you. Mom started. What have you done for me? I challenged. I got myself to school, paid for college with scholarships and loans, found my own apartment, built my own life. What exactly have you done? Besides give me DNA and a lifetime of being second place. They left after that, Mom in tears about my cruelty, Dad muttering about ungrateful children. Tyler's text had been about needing protein powder. They stopped at GNC on the way home. I knew because Mom accidentally sent me the receipt photo meant for Tyler. Maria helped me coordinate my discharge. When the time came, my co-workers from the clinic packed my apartment. Dr. Hendricks flew out personally to drive me to Seattle, her car carefully padded with pillows for the journey. Your parents? She asked as we pulled away from the hospital at Tyler's game. He made state. She nodded like that. Explained everything because it did. I recovered in Seattle in a cozy apartment near the new clinic. My co-workers there didn't know I had a brother, didn't know about the years of being forgotten, overlooked, left behind. They just knew me as Skylar, the talented surgical assistant who never missed a shift and advocated fiercely for every animal in her care. The call started a month later, Mom weeping about how I'd abandoned the family, Dad stern about duty and obligation, Tyler confused about why I'd blocked him on social media and couldn't help with his chemistry homework anymore. I didn't answer any of them. Instead, I built a life where I mattered, where my work was valued, where people showed up when I needed them. My found family threw me a party for my 1-year anniversary at the Seattle clinic. 20 people came. We ate cake and laughed, and nobody left early for anyone else's game. When I thanked them for coming, my colleague Jana hugged me. Where else would we be? She asked. Genuinely puzzled. You're important to us, I cried, then happy tears for once because I'd finally found people who meant it. Tyler got a scholarship. I saw it on the news. Local boy makes good. My parents were interviewed talking about their dedicated support, how they'd never missed a game. The reporter asked about other children. We're just blessed with Tyler, Mom said, smiling for the camera. For once she told the truth. They were blessed with Tyler and Tyler alone. I was blessed too, though, blessed with the strength to stop waiting in hospital rooms for people who would always have somewhere more important, to be blessed with the courage to build a life where I was someone's first choice, not their afterthought. My appendix had ruptured, nearly killing me, but in a way, it saved my life because lying in that hospital bed, breathing tube down my throat, watching my parents choose a high school football game for their daughter's emergency surgery, I finally understood. I wasn't abandoning my family. I was accepting that they'd abandoned me long ago. I was just Only one honest enough to admit it, and once I admitted it, I was free.